We all know budgets can make us richer or poorer. Today's broke records, however, with 77 different money-raising or spending measures, affecting everything from school opening hours to how we save, to our take-home pay, and even how many fattening sugary drinks we can afford to give our children. So this doesn't appear to be a Chancellor who's run out of ideas, even in more challenging economic times.
Chancellor of the Exchequer.
Financial markets are turbulent. Productivity growth across the West is too low, and the outlook for the global economy is weak. It makes for a dangerous cocktail of risks, but one that Britain is well prepared to handle if we act now so we don't pay later.
Now, it turns out that the economy is smaller than George Osborne hoped, and productivity, that's output per worker, which is so important to our prosperity, that's rising more slowly than he hoped. As a result, the money is tight. So there's a crackdown on tax avoidance by big companies. He's also reducing benefit payments to the disabled to pay for a reduction in the capital gains tax rate, also to reduce business rates, and
Personal tax-free allowance of £11,500. No one paying the 40p rate under £45,000. We were elected as a government for working people, and we've delivered a budget for working people.
Now, what particularly upset the opposition was those disability benefit cuts at a time when taxes for the better off are being reduced.
The price of failure is being borne by some of the most vulnerable within our society. The disabled being robbed of up to £150 a week. These aren't the actions of a responsible statesperson, they are the actions of a cruel and callous government that sides with the wrong people and punishes the most vulnerable and poorest within our society.
Now, there was one measure that united the government and opposition.
I'm not prepared to look back at my time here in this Parliament doing this job and say to my children's generation, I'm sorry. We knew there was a problem with sugary drinks. We knew it caused disease, but we ducked the difficult decisions and we did nothing. So today I can announce that we will introduce a new sugar levy on the soft drinks industry.
Now, one way of seeing how the economy is turning against the Chancellor and us is that in 2019 to 20, he expects to get £16 billion less in taxes than he was hoping for in November. So is his forecast that he's still set for his cherished £10 billion surplus that year remotely credible? Well, it depends on whether you'd believe the government would cut departmental spending on day-to-day activities by £1.8 billion that year, would lower investment by £1.2 billion, would increase taxes by more than £6 billion, and would reduce the welfare bill by £2.5 billion. Is it plausible that George Osborne would choose austerity on that scale so close to a general election? Well, the government's own forecaster isn't exactly confident that the Chancellor will generate that fabled surplus.
On the basis of past forecasting errors, that's a relatively small margin for error. If this forecast is as accurate as past ones, the government has a roughly 55% chance of meeting the mandate.
The Chancellor thinks he knows what's good for our wealth and our health. And some would say his meddling in all aspects of our lives is his comeback pitch to be our next Prime Minister. Robert Peston, News at 10.